Welcome back to the Rodeo Wagon podcast, brought to you by the Western Edge app and produced by Cosmic Cowboy Production. We're here with Brian with Bluegrass Engraving. How's it going?
It's going pretty good. The show is going pretty good, and you guys have, been great. So we've had a lot of fun, and got your little cough medicine.
Yeah,
the
yeah.
Congress crud and stuff. So that's a good thing.
Straight from Kentucky.
There you go.
So you're out of.
We're out of, we live in Louisville, and our shop's in Radcliffe, which is, we can basically see the back gate of Fort Knox from our shop.
Okay.
So,
that's cool.
yeah.
So tell everybody a little bit about what you do and.
Okay. Basically, my wife and I, we're silversmith, and we do engraving. So we do hand engraving, and we make a variety of things from jewelry to gun engraving, to dip cans, to custom buckles. A lot of people know us for our custom buckles. We've been doing Ranger buckles and everything for the past 9 years. Engraving full-time for the past 9 years. Basically, my wife and I retired from our jobs that we used to have. I was a nurse, and I was a nurse in the military and a medic. My wife was a speech pathologist. And we do this now, and it's a lot more fun to meet a lot of really interesting people and get to see the public in a different light. So this is pretty cool. It's a pretty cool gig.
What's that process like, with your background in military and everything like that? What was that process in getting into engraving?
Well, I got hurt real bad, and I couldn't really stand for long periods of time. I was an ER nurse. I worked an ICU nurse. I was a flight medic. I was airborne. I did a lot of different things, and after a while, you can't do the things you used to do. So I had problems standing for long periods of time, and I used to stop at a buddy's house or at a buddy's shop in Hyco, Texas.
Okay,
and,
I rode there.
Yeah, and one day he was just like, "Hey, you want to try this?" And I could kind of do it a little bit. So then it was just, people coming by the house that were engravers, years ago, and picking up things at class here and there, learning to set stones, learning to engrave, and then playing with guns and other things, and it's like, hey, this is fun. I like doing this. So, it's a big, people are like, well, how do you doing this now? And you threw away this career, and it's like, it's a different career, totally different people, have a lot more fun. There's the crazy people I grew up with. My first job was working on a ranch. So it was cowboys, it's vaqueros, out in California, the old Gordon Ranch. And, that's a different life. Then I went in the military. I thought I was going to run away, and I was going to see the world, join the circus, basically. And then as you get older, you try to get back. And, the life I knew is gone now. But some of the people, it's a different age, it's a different group of people, and that crazy is still there. The people are still there. The good people are still there. It's just a little different time. So getting back to what I grew up with, I always admired back then the belt buckles were this big.
Yeah.
Now it's a
dinner
little smaller.
plates.
Yeah. And we don't do the trophy style buckles. We do the Ranger buckles because that's what I think is cool.
Yeah.
I like doing that old style stuff. And like I said, the past 9 years, my wife and I have turned out, I don't know, over 1,000 buckles, and that is so cool. And now we're just kind of, like I said, doing jewelry and more buckles, of course, and new, different things.
Even the trophy buckles, are changing a little bit. Like, that one right there, different buckles like that. You're even starting to see the UTB, so the PBR Unleash the Beast. The past couple years have started playing around with different styles of buckle that are kind of going more old school. Whereas there for a little bit it was a traditional trophy buckle, oval shaped, and now you're starting to see some of those different shapes kind of come back.
And the trophy buckles now, they're just, they punch everything in the machine and it spits them out basically. And these, my wife, we cut all the letters out. These are all cut out by hand. The brands and everything, we cut that out by hand. The sides that we put on here in silver and nickel or whatever, we cut that out by hand. This is not done on a laser, cut out. It's all cut by hand. So we pride ourselves in still making a handmade product, like it used to be made. And it fits right in with the old Ranger style.
Yeah, and I think just you know, the quality and people knowing that backstory. I mean, that always intrigues me when you get stuff, you know, that is hand done like that, and it's not just put in a machine. There's something unique about every single, you know, product you're getting. I have a buddy that does leather work, and he makes it a point to where not one single thing does he do the same twice.
Yep.
It's always a little bit different. It's always done by hand. You know, and I really respect that, and I think it kind of adds to the experience. Even, you know, like you've got the guns and these dip cans and everything. Like when I'm traveling rodeoing, and you get cool stuff all the time, but the stuff that's kind of hand done like that, you know, it's just a little bit cooler than, you know, the probably 20 buckles I have that are the exact same buckle.
and you know, it's like on a dip can, I was engraving them here, you know, and doing rings and such, and people would watch me. I mean, I just basically, I'll take a marker, you know, a little whatever, you know, Sharpie, and I kind of lay out what's going to fit where on a brand or initial, or like this one the guy ordered, it has a G on it, and he was like, hey, you know, this is what I want on it, and you have free reign. So, you know, when you have free reign, you're like, oh, I add a little bit more of this, I add a little bit more of that, you know, and it's a lot of fun. Basically, like you said, no two pieces are exact because your brand's different. Somebody says, I want exactly like this. Well, it won't fit. Your brand's different. You know? And all of this is, I know that this, I've got this much room for scroll work or whatever. And you start engraving it, you know, and that's how it turns out. So it might look similar, but it's not going to be exact. It's not an exact thing. You know, we try to put a little extra soul into it, you know, a little extra this, a little extra that. But, you know, it's just what we do.
And so, you know, you pretty much, talking to your wife, have more of an online presence, but you're here at Congress. You've been here for the months. How many years have you done Congress?
This is our first time doing Congress.
So what was that like, you know, as opposed to, you know, what you do online, as far as maybe reaching different kinds of people?
Yeah, it's this side of the country, with a lot more people on this side of the country. Usually what we're making all goes to the other side of the country.
Down to
you
the
know,
west.
so yeah, we, you know, Oklahoma, Texas, California, the Dakotas, Montana, you know, even, you know, Canada. We ship stuff down into Mexico. We've shipped stuff to South America, to Ireland, to Spain. I mean, some of the places, you know, Germany, that order our buckles, we're like, well, that's really cool, you know. But it's different. You know, people out here are wanting more jewelry and stuff like that.
You
know, of course, everybody likes guns.
So
that's
for
a good thing. You know, and knives, you know, out here. But everything else, you know, is that Western lifestyle. You know, rodeo and cowboys, working cowboys. It means a lot for me when I hear a working cowboy or somebody working a stockyard or whatever is saying, man, I wanted one of your buckles for 2 years and I saved up my money. You know, that means something to me. Or a kid, you know, hey, I sold my heifer, you know, I want a buckle instead of a class ring, and I want you to do it. And that means a lot to me, you know, as opposed to, hey, I want 20 buckles, you know, for this or that. You know, and, you know, so that means a lot more to me when it's something made by hand, you know, made from you. And we get to put, like I said, we get to put a heart and soul into it. Sometimes it'll blood when I slip. Of course, we clean all that off. But, you know, it means more to me, and I don't have to be this mass producer, you know, of this cookie cutter.
100%. I think that's valuable to people, that, you know, being able to go somewhere that they know, like, this is being custom for them. And I mean, some of the stuff you're doing, you know, is pretty cool with the knives and the gun. How long have you, so what did you start, what was the progression of what you were doing? Like, what did you start with versus now? You know, you've got dip cans that are freaking cool and engraved all around them, to all the way to the pistols. Well,
I started out doing just these little buckles, you know, and somebody told me, they said, hey, you know, if you engrave a piece, then you sell it, and you can buy a piece to help you make stuff. So that's what I started doing. You know, I'd make a buckle, I'd sell it. Man, when I first started, I think I was selling buckles for $75 to $100 a piece, you know, and they were bad, you know. Some of them, even then, some of the stuff I did was like, it went sailing into the pond, you know, beside the house. There's probably fish dead because of, you know, poison from whatever, throwing these buckles in there or whatever, you know, or I remember the first gun I did, and man, it was atrocious. I mean, it was bad. And I had it in a drawer, you know, and a buddy of mine saw it, and he said, "Hey, I'd like to buy that." And I'm like, "I'll tell you what, I'll sell you this thing if you promise never to tell anybody who engraved this."
Yeah.
You know, and it was a Versa or something. And it was pretty pathetic. But you try to, you know, a little bit more, a little bit more, a little bit more, and try to improve. I try to improve every day. People are like, "Oh, you're a master." I'm not a master of anything. You know, it's just what I do. I try to do a little better job every time.
Yeah, for sure.
You know, but I have fun doing it. And man, I meet some crazy people. You know, some crazy people, and meet some, you know, Jason Machafava. I told you about him. He was the youngest master engraver and stone setter that Tiffany's ever had or has had, and he taught me to set stones.
That's cool.
Blaine Lewis, same guy, taught, you know, Tiffany's everything, and he taught me stone setting.
Yeah, I'm sure that was a tremendous, you know, benefit to that kind of journey of, you know, maturity within the discipline.
Yep.
How long do you think it took you to really get confident in putting out a product that, you know, you really stood behind and you understood that, you know, it was quality work from your own perspective?
Probably 5-6 years maybe.
Okay.
And
so it took a minute.
Yeah, even now our buckles, if like we hot glue everything, you know, instead of cold glue wiping on there, your buckle, you know, gets rusted, or, you know, it's just whatever, you know, then you send it back to us. You know, we'll reblue it. We don't charge you. You know, it's like we stand behind everything. If something breaks, you send it to us. We'll fix it or replace it. We don't charge you for it. You know, only thing we charge is like postage. Cover the postage. You know, if it's, you know, people had stuff. I finally had, after 9 years, I finally had somebody wear a dip can out. You know? And he's like, "Oh man, I need to order another one." I'm like, "What happened?" You know, because I told you about people finishing their dip can. They finished that last dip, and they call and say, "Hey man, I need another dip can." I was like, "What happened?" "Oh, it's between I-80 and such, between the I-80 truck stop and whatever." You know, so they zing it out and they replace it. But this guy actually wore it out from just driving every day, working, you know, in a saddle, and he finally wore it out. And I'm like,
"That's pretty impressive."
I'm like, "Dude, I'll make you another one." You know, just. So I sent him another one, and we do have some other ones that we do. They're spun, and the ones we do that are spun, you can drive literally. I'm gonna do a video of it. I'm gonna park my dually on top of it.
Okay.
I mean, I do them out of solid steel, and you glue them and carve them, everything. I inlaid it. You put gold in them if you want to. I mean, you can go crazy on these things. But do them out of bronze and brass and copper and steel, and they're wicked, you know. But they're tough, and they're hard to do. So I've done like 20 of them, and that's all there's ever going to be, I think, unless there's some crazy influx of people wanting these, you know, crazy, you know, dip cans.
What's your most popular product, do you think?
Probably our most, I would say, our belt buckles.
Belt buckles?
Yeah, we did 300 belt buckles last year. Just my wife and I, and that was crazy. We didn't take a day off. You know, I mean, literally, we didn't take a day off. We were in the shop every day, and then, you know, a few other items, and, you know, it was crazy.
That's really cool. Wait, so, you know, I had another guy that does bull riding spurs, Slee and Shanks.
I know, I've heard of him. I've seen his videos.
Okay, so I had a podcast with him, and he was talking about kind of navigating where a lot of guys are going to more of the machine, you know, process, because you can just do more. You know, he's trying to expand, you know, and because he's just have an overflow of, you know, orders in and stuff. So how do you manage that, you know, just between you and your wife, as far as?
Well, I get my check every month, my retirement check, so that's a good thing. It's little. I guess we're luckier than most. We own our house, you know, or what our big thing is, you know, I get a truck payment. You know? And I think, I don't know. I mean, I got a buddy of mine that he can do crazy things with a laser. You know? And he has 200-watt laser, and we've been trying to play with the idea of him hogging out these guns, where all I have to do is all the finish engraving.
Sure.
You know, and that it's quicker.
Yeah.
You know,
more efficient.
if you have, I mean, you're going to charge you know, $1,500, $3,000 to even just do this gun, you know, engraving wise, and you can cut that in half, you know, by using the laser and finish engraving.
Sure.
You know, something like that.
And you still have your own hand in everything. And
exactly.
I think, to me, that's so important. Even like when I was talking to Sling and Shanks, and we've had a lot of conversation on that. There's something about having your hand on everything, especially if you're putting out a product that you have to stand behind. I mean, for you to have somebody else to do it, you would almost have to mentor that person for as long as it took you, you know, to do it, which 6 years. I mean, that'd be a process.
And we've you know, if I could find somebody who's interested in doing what we do, you know, I would gladly, you know, we'll figure something out, you know, because when I'm done, I'm done. Yeah. You know, I mean, I don't have anybody really to pass it down to or anything. So, you know, when I'm done, I'm done. You know. And
it's not, man, it's not something, I don't know within the engraving world, but I know within the leatherwork world, there's not just a ton of people that do it and, you know, have really poured their, you know, life into it.
There's a lot of part-timers, you know, hobbyists, you know. I know, it's like the people that do it full-time, I know a lot of them, you know, and I guess you're competing against a hobbyist. You know, whatever, like I started out, like I was selling an $80, $100, $75 buckle, you know. So sometimes it's, you know, you just have to show people, educate people, like, you know, okay, well, that's cool, and this is what I do, and this is what they do, and, you know.
How much of the products, when you are doing it, if you don't mind me asking, like, do people give you, you know, a knife that they have, or like I was talking to you about a buckle that, you know, been wore out? Like how often are you doing that versus how often are people purchasing, say, a knife from you? Or
mostly they're buying from us. You know, when they find out what we do, you know, it's you know, they're like, oh, can you redo this buckle? Yeah, I can redo that. Or I lost stones out of this. Can you? Yeah, I can replace that. And they're like, oh, cool, here I did 2 belt buckles, you know, and finished those. Had people that had, I did a Tiffany bracelet, a Cartier bracelet, you know, ladies like, can you do this? And yeah, I can do that, you know, it's no big deal. So I did that. So, you know, another guy wants me to do a Rolex or something, you know, and so it's just, you know, it's just people finding out what you do and what you can do.
Do you get a lot of, like, the word of mouth as far as, you know,
a lot of word of mouth
when you're growing and you know, people that, you know, suggest it?
Yeah, and it's cool. I guess kind of ego thing too. When somebody says, hey, I was out in Sturgis, South Dakota, or I was out here, and they say they want to learn how to make a belt buckle like Bluegrass Engraving, or, you know, and I'm like, wow, you know, I want to learn how to do this because I know the people in it. You know, Jeff Park taught me how to do gold inlay. You know, and Jeff Park is he's the man when it comes to stuff like that. Russell Yates taught me how to do gold inlay. He's the crazy bit and spur guy, you know, and everybody calls him Uncle Russell. You know? It just, you get to meet really cool people.
What's you know, I'm learning about the hat, you know, the hat companies that are making Sombrero, and you have American and all of these hat companies that seem to be really well connected. You know, it's not so much competition as they really support each other. It sounds to me like that's pretty, you know, common within the engraving as well, as far as, you know, learning from and actually passing that wisdom on to the next guy.
Well, it used to be that nobody would tell you anything, you know, because you're competition.
Your competition.
And now with YouTube and everything else, everything's out there. Yeah. You know, there's schools, you know, their classes, whatever. There's just so many things available now, you know, that there's a lot of opportunity to learn how to do things. I mean, I want to learn how to build a spaceship. You know, you're on YouTube, there's your spaceship, and, you know, you learn nuclear fission or whatever, you know. It's just changed a lot.
It really has, and the internet and
and you know, and we still know, I mean, I know all the older people, you know, and there's a lot of young people I've never heard of, you know, and there's some really good engravers out there already, you know. There's some spur makers out there that are doing crazy things. There's bit makers out there, there's saddle makers, leather people especially. Yeah. You know, I was like, good Lord, it's like, I want one of those, and I want one of those, and I want one of those, you know. And they're all like, man, I like what you do. And I'm like, dude, look what you're doing. You're fantastic. You know, this is just what I do. You know, am I good? I'm okay. I want to do better. I want to be better. But
you certainly love doing it, though.
Yeah, I love doing it. You know, I sit there all day long and engrave. some people like, I engrave for 4 hours a day, 2 hours. I'll sit there for 8 hours and engrave.
That's pretty
You
cool.
know, I'll go in the back. It starts out that we have our buckle blanks, and we start soldering. My wife cuts everything out, and she'll start soldering. She's a better solderer than I am now, you know. And
I bet she lets you know that too.
yeah, I taught her, and now she's like, my wife's pretty humble. She's real quiet. She's a typical Southern belle, and she's from Kentucky, and she's a Kentucky girl.
That's cool.
And she's quiet, and she's good at what she does. She's very meticulous.
Yeah.
And,
You'd almost have to be to get into this.
yeah. She uses a visor for pretty much everything she does. I use a Leica. I use a microscope.
Okay.
Yeah. I can inlay gold. I can set a diamond, or I can engrave. Whatever. But yeah, she's got a lot better eyesight. And she'll sit back there. I'll be in the front of the shop, and I'm engraving, and she's in the back, or in her office. And then I'll walk back there after a while, and she's got this pile of silvers, earrings and cuffs that she's already cut out and stuff. And she'll come up and she'll say, honey, would you put some engraving on this? And turn around and walk away, and I'm like, when the hell did you do that? And it's just like she's making stuff in the back all the time, and she's good with a torch, and she's just, most people, a lot of ladies are, they're like, oh, I want this, I want that. My wife's like, I want tools, which is cool. Everybody in my family knows it's Christmas time, it's birthday time. We're getting jewelry.
Yeah.
Nice, yeah, appreciate it. I get a gift card, and my wife wants a ring, she'll make a ring.
Yeah.
And say, honey, engrave this or put a stone in it for me.
Now, well, I guess, so how long have you been married for?
We've been together for 14 years. 14? Been married 13 years. But people usually ask how long you've been married, and it's forever, because we work together every day.
Sure, yeah.
We're together every day. She's my best friend. We laugh. We you get a little mad or whatever, but she goes to her side of the building. I go to my side.
Yep.
But you got to ride home with her.
Yeah.
You go back home. We have dinner together. I always laugh about. We get up in the morning, have coffee, go to work. We're talking on the way, listen to music, get in the shop, turn the music on. Usually start doing her thing, I'm doing my thing.
Yeah.
And we have lunch, and then we work. It's 5:30, 6 o'clock at night. We go home. We'll make dinner, together. Or she'll go do stuff on the computer while I'm making dinner or whatever. And then it's like we'll watch a little TV or whatever, and play with our animals, and we're good. And wash, rinse, and repeat.
Do you, so how far is your commute to where your shop is?
It's about 30 minutes, maybe. So it's not that bad. We wanted a bigger shop. You could never have a shop big enough.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
you grow into it.
Yeah.
It's like a house.
Our shop's like 1,500 square feet.
Okay.
And we already outgrew it.
Yeah.
It's just, you got more toys in there. And, it's like you sell this and, I'm going to buy another toy. So we're like little kids now. If we want something, we just buy it. It's like Christmas times all year round. That's just how we are. And at Christmas time, we're working. So our Christmas isn't until January.
Okay.
Because we have all Christmas orders.
Sure.
And then we got people wanting their buckle for the NFR. Hey, I'm going to the NFR this year. I want to wear my buckle.
I bet you get super busy then.
We get crazy
in the
busy.
winter. And adding, Congress now.
Yeah.
To that, I'm sure that you're going to have an even bigger influx, going from Congress to the NFR to Christmas time.
Mm-hmm. And then I'm a sucker for a sob story. We had some people in your neck of the woods, but over on the western side of Missouri.
Okay.
And they ordered buckles, and it was one of those things like, I wanted my buckle for Christmas. My daughter wanted her buckle, and Christmas Eve, we got in the truck and drove to western Missouri to deliver these buckles.
Oh, really?
Yeah. It was crazy. We got there and they weren't even home. They're like, just leave them on the porch. We're like, but it was pretty cool. And we've had, we had a motorcycle club order buckles.
Oh, that's cool.
And they were, like, I probably shouldn't say the banditos, but they order these buckles and they're like, hey, any chance of having these delivered? Because of the time frame.
Sure.
So we drove to Rio Doce, New Mexico from Louisville, and delivered well, it was $20,000 worth of belt buckles that they ordered, you know, and then they're giving you $100 tips, you know, $500 tips, and we go out to dinner and go see Santa Fe, you know, stuff like that.
Yeah, for sure.
It's just,
travel a little bit.
Yeah, it's just crazy off the wall things that we end up doing sometimes.
Do you see like different styles, different parts of the country, different styles?
Oh yeah. Everything, like I said, we do a lot of Western stuff.
Yeah.
We'll come to the Eastern show or something, or set up, you know, and like, oh, you're Western, you're cowboy, you're this, and I'm like, well, I guess I am, because that's what I like and that's what I grew up with.
Sure, yeah.
You know, and I guess originally I was like, well, if it don't sell, I have something cool.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah, right.
And usually it just sells. And then I like this gun that I finished.
Yeah, show this off a little bit.
So this is a Kimber 45. Of course, I'm sitting there playing with it, but like you said, you saw that it wasn't loaded, and we've looked at it a few times. It's just a sweet little pistol, and the grips are burl wood. They're sterling silver inside of it. Everything's been shaved. It's relief engraved. And just a little bit more engraving here and there. You know, I just keep adding and a lady saw it. She's like, oh, I really want that for my husband. And I was like, okay. I shot her the price, and she's okay.
Yeah.
And so now I've got to go buy 2 more.
You know,
that's the way it works.
How many guns do you do? Do you do very many?
This year I've done 4.
Really?
I think 4, 3. I've got one that I'll be playing with, but 45s are cool. Vaqueros, you know, are cool. 38, you know, something like that.
Yeah, sure.
Those I think will be next. A little Ladysmith maybe for my wife. You know, just cool things.
Yeah,
people.
sure.
1911s are popular.
Yeah.
You know, and they're big enough that, you know, you shoot and you can use it as a club if you had to. So,
yeah.
And a 45 is what I started out in
Okay.
1980 in the military. You know, you had a 45.
Right.
You qualify with a 45, and that was cool. You know, so.
Are you searching for that perfect statement? Look no further than Bluegrass Engraving, where creativity meets craftsmanship. Their specialty lies in creating custom buckles and dip cans, but that's not all. They redefine elegance with an exquisite line of jewelry, and for those who appreciate a little flair, check out their engraved guns collection. At Bluegrass Engraving, they don't just create products, they craft experiences. Visit Bluegrass Engraving today and let them turn your visions into engraved realities. Bluegrass Engraving, where artistry meets authenticity. What's up, everybody? I'm thrilled to announce a fantastic partnership between the Rodeo Wagon podcast and Rodeo Life Official. Rodeo Life isn't just a coffee brand. It's a veteran-owned business that epitomizes the principles of hard work, dedication, and perseverance in all their products. As an avid consumer of Rodeo Life coffee, I am proud to align myself with a company that mirrors my values and resonates with our audience. Supporting this veteran-owned business is not only a testament to our shared ethos, but also a way to give back to those who have served our country. This partnership promises exciting content, collaborations, and surprises for all our listeners and the rodeo community. You can anticipate special episodes featuring the Rodeo Life experts, and even a chance to win some Rodeo Life merchandise. We look forward to this journey with Rodeo Life and the enriching experience it will bring our audience. Join us as we venture into this partnership, fueled by a passion for rodeo and a great cup of Rodeo Life coffee. Stay tuned for more exciting updates and the amazing things to come from the Rodeo Wagon podcast and Rodeo Life Official. Make sure you go to rodeolifeofficial.com. Hey there, folks. I want to tell you about my favorite cowboy hat brand, Sombrero Brands. As a professional bull rider, I know how important it is to have a hat that not only looks good, but can withstand the toughest rides out there. And that's exactly what Sombrero Brands delivers. Their hats are custom fitted and shaped to perfection, with a level of attention to detail that's hard to find these days. But what really sets Sombrero Brands apart is the fact that they're a family-owned and operated business. Mark and Kendall Holler, the owners, and their daughter Sarah, who's only 13 but already a hat-making prodigy, are all passionate about their craft. They know what it takes to make a cowboy hat that can stand up to anything the rodeo circuit can throw at it. And get this, the founder's grandfather, Polly Holler, was born and raised at South Camp on the 4-6's ranch. These folks have got cowboy blood running through their veins, and it shows in every hat they make. That's why I'm proud to have Sombrero Brands as a major sponsor for my podcast, the Rodeo Wagon podcast. So if you're in the market for a hat that's tough enough to handle anything the rodeo throws at it, give Sombrero Brands a try. trust me,
Man,
you won't be
if
disappointed.
you own a rodeo association and you're giving out awards or you're thinking about giving out awards, that's the one to get. There's been a few that I've gone to that have, you know, guns and stuff, and some of them are just plain. It'll be like a sawed-off shotgun that's just like a plain shotgun or whatever. But there's been a few out there that do some really cool stuff, and will get, you know, some cool pistols or guns, and you get those suckers engraved. And there's not a whole lot cooler than an engraved gun to hang up on the wall.
Yeah, and now, you know, it's like working under a Class 7 as a manufacturing license for, you know, the FFL, so we can do pretty much anything. And it can go anywhere. You know,
Yeah,
so
that's
that's
cool.
a cool thing.
Okay, what's your favorite to engrave?
Like pistol-wise?
Well, pistol-wise, both.
You know, pistols, they take a long time. You know,
And you can't mess up.
You can't really, if you mess up, you add another scroll or a tendril or whatever. But I think my favorite, you know, is I can make a nice, you know, I can do a nice dip can or buckle.
Yeah.
And the buckles are, like I said, the heart and soul. You know,
Okay,
what
yeah,
we do.
sure.
We do a lot of buckles, and you know, we do cuffs, we do earrings, we do everything.
Yeah.
It's just more. We're doing more knives. You know, so knives are fun. You know, we do these little knives and stuff. You know, they're just a handy little knife. You know, they're fun to do. Dip cans, of course. Bracelets are fun because, you know, it's funny with the buckles. You know, we touched on that a few times, but people say they win their buckles, and you know that's cool, but they buy our buckle or a buckle like ours because that's the style they like to wear.
To wear,
you know?
yeah, for sure.
You know, if you're going out or whatever, you know, switch your belt buckles out. We like to make something that you can wear out on the town or to work. You know, don't afraid to work in it. Switch your belt out or whatever, and that's cool to me.
Yeah, even like the ones that I win, the coolest ones I win, I don't like to work in them.
Yeah.
You know, like
they're all scratched up, everything else, or you have a stone fall out and whatever.
Yeah, the colors in them start to fade, and
you get away when you ride.
Yeah.
You know, whether you're on a horse, a motorcycle, even driving a long distance, you got that buckle cutting into you.
Oh man, and you know, heck, talk about, you know, the type of belt and buckle you use if you're on the road all the time. Like I'd notice, I won't even, when I'm driving, I just freaking take my belt off.
Same here.
My buckle's so big, it'll throw my hips out, but if I freaking take my belt off, you know, long drives, then it won't do that.
Yeah.
But even the style of buckle that you're wearing can, you know, you have a big sucker like this, it's heavy. You know, you get some
this
of them
here,
like that.
That's perfect.
That's a perfect type of, you know, working buckle. And
this is one of our bigger ones. But yeah, these are the smaller ones are just more comfortable, and we'll do these in solid silver.
And you probably do like those too, where they have the end of the belt that has the tip on it. And
yeah,
all
we
that.
do a 3-piece. There's a picture back here of a 3-piece that we've done.
Oh,
and,
yeah.
We make our tips out of 3 different pieces. You got a side piece, a back piece, and a top piece.
Okay.
And we bend all that, solder it together, and I think we've got maybe videos somewhere of me doing that. I know that on YouTube we have some videos, and I know on Instagram and other places. My wife shoots video occasionally, me doing stuff, and we should probably put more content out there than we do, and we're working on that.
Yeah.
Just to show people what we do and somehow we do it.
Man, and content nowadays king. I mean, you know, all it takes is somebody scrolling through, you know, whatever, you know, Instagram, whatever app, like you're talking about, everybody has apps nowadays, and scrolling through and seeing a cool product. And actually, I mean, heck, that's where we got those JM snap racks and those cowboy hat holders. That was strictly just, you know, he got on the app and he was posting something. I'm like, that's the craziest thing. I've never seen that before. You know, and same with Kenny when he walked over and saw what you were doing.
I think he saw me making a ring or something, because we make rings. We make engagement rings and wedding rings.
Did you make your wife a ring?
Yes.
You did?
Yes.
Okay.
And she makes her own rings too.
I'm sure,
You know?
I'm sure.
And, it's, honey, will you engrave this? Yeah, or put a stone in it, you know, but she's pretty handy, man, you know, and we do our engagement bands and wedding rings and other rings. I engrave the edges, I engrave the tops, you know, I'll engrave the insides, you know, I'll bling those out. And
I need to get a wedding band for me made.
Yeah.
I need to have you guys do that for me.
Yeah.
I you know, my wife, I freaking lost mine and I went to the rubber ones, but if I get a nice one again, that sucker's I'm not taking it rodeoing with me. I'll wear a rubber one because I'll lose a pack of those. And I don't, I think your fingers swell up and they change sizes, and I have little, thin fingers, so it takes a lot to keep a ring on there.
It's funny because we tell people that, we'll wash our hands, we're like in a hurry. And I've thrown away 2 rings. My wife's thrown away a ring. And you're quick, and you're done. You get back, don't notice for a day or so, and you're like, well, crap.
Yeah.
And it's just like the whole dip thing out, dip count
dip count out the window, yeah.
And people are like, oh my, what'd you do? I'm like, I just said I had to make another one. I mean, that's, it's like what you do.
Yeah.
So.
I bet you do get a bunch of these chucked out the window.
Yeah.
Now that you say that, or thrown in the trash can, especially people that probably it's their first time getting a dip can, metal dip can holder, and so then they're still used to just throwing away.
They only usually do it once.
Yeah, probably.
They
yeah.
usually do it once. Then they call us and tell us, and I used to chuckle, I mean, it's good for me. It's not good for you, because you got to tell Mama you order another one, or you gotta, you're like, man, there goes that.
Yeah.
So it's kind of funny. Some of the stories we get, and that's like people with brands. They send us their brand. They'll send us a brand card, picture of the brand card. We get napkins. We get stuff drawn in the dirt. In a corral. We get them just on, either here's my horse's flank, or this is on a calf, whatever, and we're like, yeah, we can do that. We can work with it. So we do a lot of brand stuff, brands on rings even. We do brand rings.
Yeah. What about saddles?
We do horn caps.
Okay.
And we have a company here that is asking us to do some silver work for them.
Well, that'd be awesome.
So we're going to see how that does, and a couple hat companies.
Yeah, for sure.
And you're familiar with one, so we're going to see how that works out. And what we
because probably a lot of hat bands. Hat bands, saddles. That's cool. That's one thing that the last couple of years I've been winning some saddles, and I've really got into. Wanting that trophy saddle that kind of looks nice, and you can kind of put it by the fireplace or whatever, and that's something I think that with the metal, it really kind of pops.
We'll do silver horn caps with a brand on it, overlaid, and all the engraving.
Yeah.
And we'll do custom conchos for your belt, for your horse, for your dog. And it doesn't matter. A concho's a concho.
Yeah.
Candle plates, like I said, a little bit of everything. And now people are like, can you do an entire horn out of silver? And we're like, let's do that.
Yeah, let's do that. Yeah.
So that's a cool thing.
Yeah, how often does that happen where somebody asks you something maybe that's new, kind of a new design or
it happens every now and then.
New product?
Sometimes people come up with an idea like, this is what I want to do. And you have to talk them out of it.
Yeah.
Because you're just like, that's not going to work, and if it is, it's just,
this isn't what you envisioned it to be.
No.
Yeah.
And our buckles, and you're like, I want this, I want this, I want this on it, and you're like, one, there's not enough real estate for this,
right.
and that, and then the whole story you want engraved on it. So you're kind of like, well, this will work with it, this won't work with it.
Yeah, sure.
That's not going to look good with it, and so we'll do like a steel buckle with sterling silver sides, and a copper brand, or something like that, different metals, or I do one out of solid silver and we'll put gold on it. I'll put diamonds in it. It's the cool factor.
Yeah.
I like doing stuff like that.
Yeah, for sure.
Different stuff, or everybody likes to think, well, this is my design, whatever. We got people that actually go online. They'll take a picture of our stuff, and Mike Perdue's a friend, and people send me his buckles. Say, hey, can you make this? I'm like, no, but Mike will, and he gets the same thing. He's like, well, that's because after a while, who's engraving, you can see the style.
Sure.
But we got people that they've taken our buckle designs and totally, whatever.
Right.
You're not reinventing the wheel. You're just kind of tweaking it.
Sure.
But there's some people that actually trace our engraving.
Yeah.
And,
well, I'm sure there's uniqueness, within everybody. Just like writing styles.
Exactly.
You're going to have different styles of engraving and stuff that's just a little bit unique and specific to individuals, because it's definitely an artistic. Anything in the art.
And then if you're learning off of a piece, or you're, you know, so we're teaching somebody how to do something, then they're going to have a little bit of your style.
Yeah, sure.
You know, that way too.
Right.
So I'm probably, like I said, I got friends that taught me and things like that, and I've taken a little bit of here and a little bit of here and a little bit of here, but they can look at my engraving now and say, oh, that's Brian. Brian did that, and that's kind of cool. And then again, it's kind of like, oh man, does that mean, you know?
Yeah.
So I look at their stuff and I think, man, you're the cool kid. You know, I'm just over here doing this. You know, and they're like, no, what you do is cool. So it's kind of,
I'm really interested, like even going over there and Kenny sent the video of you making this, and that's cool. We'll have to have you do, maybe some video tutorials or something, just for kind of the viewers to be able to see a little bit about the process that goes into making it, and because that's always intriguing me. It intrigued me a lot about leatherwork. My buddy that
I love leatherwork.
He makes my shaps and stuff like that. I love going over there when he's doing something for me. And if I get a chance to watch him work, it's just cool. And that's not me. So that's not me. I'm not artistic in that way.
Yeah.
And I'm certainly not meticulous enough to, probably be efficient at all of that. But I really enjoy watching it. It's really cool.
I got a buddy that, I just gave him this buckle that I did. This was sterling silver with gold rubies in it.
Yeah, yeah.
And I made the keeper and everything. But I was like, he was like, I can make you a belt. I'm like, oh man. And I just gave him, my buckle and keeper, and he sent it back. I met him out in Wyoming and made my stuff, and I'm like, oh man, I'm like, oh man, look at my new belt. And to me, it's just cool.
Yeah.
I see people make a saddle, or you see people making, shaps. You see people make even a knife sheath.
Yep.
I'm like, oh man, I want one of those.
Yeah, I've won a few knife sheaths. Those are pretty cool.
Yeah, my shoulder holster rig I've got, for it's all custom made. A guy, I traded out stuff. I did a gun for him. He made me this holster.
That's cool. You should look into. So that company, JM Snap Racks, look into them, because they do those. It's just he does ones that are big squares, and they've got the.
It's got all the tooling on it. Yeah. Everything else. I'm thinking, man, one of my pistols
would look good in that. Yeah.
One of the knives we do or something. But I'm already thinking, man, I got a sunroof and everything in the truck.
That would be perfect.
Figure out how to,
Yeah, you could
that's
even.
Awesome.
I'm sure he could even make it to where you could put a pistol in there, and then even your knife have a clip on there to where you could, have a tooled knife up there. But
I know guys that are doing their center consoles that are all tooled, and I'm like, oh hell, I want one of these too.
Yeah, I know.
It's the whole cool factor. I'm like, well, I'll put a horn cap in there, or something, or I'll put some sterling, silver on that, and whatever.
There's so much cool. There's so much cool
There
stuff
is.
that you can do. I've seen those too, those center consoles, and even the dash and stuff, and.
My
buddy
wife just shakes her head. She's like, you guys never grow up, Especially when we get together with people who are like throwing these ideas around. My wife just shakes her head and she just walks in the other room, So you know what it's like. You never really grow up.
No, it's just not one thing, it's another.
Exactly.
Yeah. Me and my brother-in-law have been getting into golf, and getting into it. We've been in it for a minute, but you get into all of that cool stuff, and even the putters, like getting into the putter world, and you get all these different putters that are, designed and crafted, and very specific. And
I have people say, hey, can you make me a ball marker? I didn't know what the hell a ball marker was.
Did you make a ball marker?
Yeah.
That's cool.
I
didn't see. Now you have a customer. I probably have a handful of guys that would be all about getting a custom ball marker done.
Now I don't play pasture pool myself.
Yeah.
But, it's cool. I'll make all kinds. I'll do a fishing reel, do a gun, do a buckle, do a dip can, do a bracelet, a ring. I like engraving. I did a pair of brass knuckles that are over a pound. Over I think a pound and something, and I relief engraved them all. Both sides of it. It's just cool. I like doing strange things like that. So. Anywho.
Yeah, that's it, man. Pretty much anything that can be engraved looks cooler after it is. Really, anything.
I like engraving everything.
Even talking about those mics.
the mic stands.
Yeah.
I'm gonna give you those and have you engrave those, and just little stuff like that you look at and you're like, man, this is plain, but once you see it engraved, you're like, that's pretty cool.
Somebody brought me a pair of spurs. You're like, hey, can you relief engrave all that? I said, well, yeah, I can do that. That's cool, you know.
Yeah.
And I'm looking forward to doing it. They're browned, and I was like, well, I'll polish those up and we'll blue them, you know, and engrave them. And they're like, cool. So I had something else I have to do. They're in a box, sitting there, you know, behind our stuff right now, and get ready to go home with us. And that's something else to add to the list, you know, of everything else I'm going to be doing.
Yeah.
But I'm looking forward to it, man.
Yeah, that's cool. So how many of these events are you doing a year?
Well, we went to Gillette this year. We did Road to the Horse.
I bet. Did you watch it at all?
We didn't get to watch it because we're there.
Man, you're there.
And,
I know.
And we're here.
Yeah.
You know, we did the North American show before. We didn't do it this year or last year. We're looking for other shows to do. So hey, if you could recommend any good shows to do.
Yeah. Well, you named a couple of them. Houston.
Yeah, we'd love to do Houston.
The NFR. It's a big one. I need to find out what that one in Arizona is, but it's pretty big. You know, heck, this is the only one that we've done so far, and we're looking to do a few different ones throughout the year, because this one's been rather successful for us.
Yeah.
You know, really just getting the word out and spreading awareness to what we're doing and what we're doing even with Congress now. With the ticketing and stuff.
You guys are great. This is just a perfect fit for us.
This fit perfectly into kind of what we're doing. You know, how has that been for you? This, the first time having a booth set up and everything.
I think it's working out good.
Yeah.
You know, and this app and the people we've met and
Yeah.
everything, it's just like.
Well, the biggest reason that we created this is because there's just a need for it, especially within this Western demographic. Because Facebook's awesome, Instagram's awesome. Those are pretty much the way you advertise nowadays, as you were talking about, earlier. That's the way you advertise, and as effective as they are, it's like an ocean full of people, and it's really difficult to be able to get all of the people within that demographic, and
and the people that's all following you, after a while they get tired of seeing it. Oh man, Brian posted a buckle.
Yeah.
Oh man, I don't post a whole lot. My wife does,
Right.
and I'm just kind of like, so. So.
Kenny.
Yeah, I see Kenny out there. I think Kenny wants a picture.
Yeah, yeah. I think he's talking about the pistol.
Yeah.
I think he's a fan of the pistol.
Yeah, I think he is too.
Have you done any like lever actions or anything like that?
I want to do some of the yellow boys, gold boys, whatever.
Yeah.
I want to do something like that. I'd love to do some 30-30s. Just the lever action guns. I'm looking forward to doing stuff like that. So hey, maybe we can do something like that.
Yeah,
that'd be a hell of a giveaway.
That would be a hell of a giveaway for sure. Yeah, I think a lot of people would be intrigued by that.
Yeah.
The guns and stuff is that's
we're
lot
going to work
of
with you
people.
guys too. We'll get some cool stuff out there for giveaways.
Yeah, heck, even these knives,
Yeah.
like the amount of people that freaking.
Yeah.
I mean, and some of the stuff that you use every day, a dip can, a knife, bracelet, you're always changing it.
Exactly.
Even if it's a good knife, you're always getting another one. There's always something that catches your eye.
Either lose it, or you break it, or
Yeah.
whatever, or you're like, something newer and shinier.
Yeah.
So.
And it's been great, kind of getting to know you a little bit about what you're doing.
We really appreciate it.
We hope to continue, kind of building on this partnership, and hopefully all the viewers and stuff get a little bit of a insight into what this engraving looks like. I definitely want to have you do some tutorials and stuff, and maybe do a giveaway, and we can really kind of spread the awareness about what you're doing. In the rodeo world, this stuff is getting super popular. Definitely within the leatherworking, but like I said, a lot of these producers and stuff are always thinking of new ways in which they can give something out that's going to draw contestants,
and we're always looking forward to working with people too.
Yeah.
And getting our product out there, helping them, they're helping us, and showing more people what we do.
That's how it should work. We really believe in this community doing this together. It's really difficult to do it on your own, but when you as a community are it's almost a self-built economy. And especially in today's day and age, that's so vital. That you can have a community there that supports one another and is continually helping kind of push that envelope.
You know, we have fun doing it. We like to meet people. You know, it's just fun all around. It's just fun all around.
And it's so crazy too, because you meet people that, you know, how many times have I went through Lexington, Kentucky, or just went through Kentucky, the whole state, and you know, you kind of getting to meet new people, and it gives you kind of an excuse to get to stop by and hang out. And
we meet the same people. We meet people like, hey, I saw you out in Wyoming, and we're set up here, and we're here, and they're in Kentucky, and they're in Florida. You know, it's like turn around. And it's like, holy cow, look who's here.
Yeah.
So, that's cool.
Yeah, it is cool.
It's a small world.
Man, it's been nice, you know, getting to talk to you, learn a little bit about what you're doing. You know, hopefully, definitely continue, you know, building this partnership and, you know, kind of showing our viewers a little bit more about what you're doing, and especially maybe, hopefully, kind of helping you get your foot in the door a little bit more, maybe in the rodeo side. You know, that's a big part of my life and a lot of our viewers' lives is rodeo, and you know, I think that goes hand in hand with a lot of the rodeo stuff going around.
Yeah, and there's a lot of upcoming people. There's a lot of, I mean, of course, I'm a little older, you know, now.
Yeah.
And, you know, it's like Roy Cooper and Monty Hawkeye Henson. You know, I mean, Martha Josie. You know, just, you know, people like that. You know, and now you're like, who? I mean, you know, so, you know, it's different now. But you know, we're looking forward to doing a lot of more, you know, a lot more fun stuff.
Yeah.
You know, we still got a few miles on us, so we're still
How can all the viewers find you? Where do they go?
You can look at our Bluegrass Engraving at gmail.com is our, you know, email us. You can look us up on Instagram under Bluegrass _engraving. On Facebook, we're Bluegrass Engraving. Facebook stuff, you know, I'm not on Facebook a whole lot.
Yeah.
You know, people send me friend requests. If I don't respond to it, it's just because I don't get on Facebook a whole lot. I'm not, you know, I'm not selfies and whatever. I'm just not into Facebook.
Sure.
Facebook,
yeah, that's it.
I'll post something and, hey, yeah, I made something. That's cool. You know, I got a bad habit. My wife says that somebody says, hey, I like your stuff. I'm like, thank you.
Yeah.
Cool. You know, I don't mean to, you know, I don't, you know, I'm just not used to that, you know,
sure.
The whole, I'm just not, you know, and it's not, and look up my stuff. I mean, we'll meet, you know, whatever. Look on Instagram. There's a lot of stuff on Instagram. You know, we're trying to do more content for Instagram.
Yeah. Do you have a website?
Yeah, our website is Bluegrass Engraving. You know, I don't know what else to say. I mean, we're just kind of like, our website's bluegrassengraving.com.
Yep, and you can find them on the app.
Yeah.
So Western Edge app. Yep. So Western Edge app, Facebook, Instagram. Do you have TikTok yet?
No, my wife signed up for TikTok.
Did she?
You know, I don't know anything really about TikTok. You know,
I didn't figure, but
no.
Yeah.
You know, I don't do that. I still give my phone number out to people. You know, or say, hey, give me a call, and they're like, what? You know?
Man, that's what I'm still in that one manner. I don't like texting. I'm not a texter. I'd so much rather talk to you on the phone.
I still send letters. You know, it's like I'll send you a Christmas card. People are like, oh yeah, I'll send you a text, and I'm like, you'd be in the next room. Somebody send you a text. I'm like, I'm just in here. You know, give me a call. I'll text you. You know, or send me a letter. I'll send you. I'll send you an email. You know. It's just different. I don't know. I still kind of live in the past, I guess.
Yeah, a little old school. That's okay. It's genuine.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, that's one thing that you know, I really like about this demographic is how genuine it is, and you have people that are very genuine. You know, I don't know that you have that, you know, around the country all that much anymore. It's growing more and more fake.
Yeah,
you know,
I still loan my truck out. You know, so like, oh, I need to move this, that. Well, yeah, put some, you know. I used to say put gas. I don't do that anymore. Most people do it anyway. You know, it's just kind of how it's a different world, I think, now.
It's changing. You know? It's changing very quickly. But man, it's nice to have you on here. We'll definitely do this again. You know, guys, stay tuned. We'll do some cool stuff. We'll do some different videos of what he's doing, what they're doing. You know, and have you do some tutorials. We will do some giveaways, so definitely stay tuned for the giveaways. That's going to be really cool.
We'll have some cool toys to give away.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
That'll work.
It's unfortunate that I can't win it. I feel like it would disqualify me. Me and Vinny talk about this all the time. You know, sometimes we'll give away something that's cool, and I really would like to win that. But
that's what Kenny said. He was like, "Oh man, this is gonna be hard to give away." I make you one, man. It's no big deal.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
But heck yeah, nice
Cool.
having you on there. Thanks for tuning in, guys.